I found this particular topic that John Lynch talked about on the Pat McAfee show to be pretty interesting because obviously we know what went down with Trey Lance, traded to the Cowboys for a fourth round pick. That draft pick actually turned into Malik Mustafa in this class. However, I do think there is something here and also kind of correlating to the Trey Lance draft and how it's changed and helped evolve the San Francisco 49ers draft plans. And it might be in large part due to this situation with Trey Lance. So, just quickly take a listen to John Lynch as he discusses the difficulties of navigating the Trey Lance situation. We all know it was a very challenging time as fans from the outside looking in, but obviously, this is an inside perspective on the difficulties of navigating trading up so much to get Trey and then having to realize, man, Mr. Irrelevant right now is the best option for us moving forward. But like I said, I think there's even a bigger I think there's a bigger talking point about how maybe the Trey Lance situation and that particular draft class has changed and evolved the 49ers way of thinking. And I think that played out in this recent draft. But take a listen right here as John Lynch talks about the situation with Pat McAfee on ESPN.
And now it doesn't matter because you guys have found Brock and you've been to a Super Bowl and an NFC championship with him. But how difficult was it navigating the whole Trey Lance situation, whether it's, kind of the pressure from ownership because you guys did sink so much draft capital into him, and then on the other side, you see the potential and the talent that he could have, envisioning him a couple years down the road. But how difficult was it navigating that situation when you have two other guys who, clearly are just, they're giving you the better chance to win? And at what point was it like, okay, maybe it's best if we just kind of give him a fresh start and a new opportunity elsewhere?
Yeah, it was difficult. We invested a lot in Trey, and we had a lot of belief that he was the right guy. It was during the COVID period. It was tough to get out and see players a lot. But ultimately we had belief in the young man, and we had a vision for how we were going to play with Trey at quarterback. Unfortunately, he got hurt a couple of times, and when he hurt his ankle, Brock came in eventually, and Brock kind of took it and ran with it. And at some point, then you ask yourself, what's in the organization's best interest? And some amount, we still believe Trey can have a really good career in the NFL. You always got to look out for your organization, but at the same time, can we put Trey in a good position? And so, we started talking to some people. The thing came about with the Cowboys, and I'm hopeful that Trey gets his opportunity. Couldn't ask for a better guy, a stud human being, and I really do believe that he's going to have some success in this league. And wish nothing but the best for him and his family.
Yeah, that's NFL. There's only a certain amount of spots, I appreciate you saying that about Trey, and we're pulling for him too. Good luck out there, Trey.
Like I said at the beginning, I do think that it was a very challenging time. It really was, and the biggest problem I think that really played a role in, Trey Lance not getting the reps that he needed, which we all knew he needed, was the injury. It was the finger injury. It was a little bit of slight regression in training camp as a rookie that ultimately didn't allow him to beat out Jimmy Garoppolo to get the starting job. And again, I think it was compounded with the finger injury his rookie season. And then, breaking his ankle week 2 didn't help either. But beyond that, I think there's an interesting talking point about maybe how the Trey Lance situation has helped evolve the 49ers thought processes on prospects. Because when we look at Trey Lance, very young player, right? I think he was 21 years old, not a lot of experience, 1 year at the FCS level, 1 game due to the COVID year, and then he was the number 3 overall pick. And again, the main thing that we emphasized with Trey Lance was we need to get him reps. He needs experience. He needs reps. He needs experience. That was literally the main talking point about Trey. and why everyone felt he should be the starting quarterback in year one. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. He didn't get those reps, and then he breaks his ankle and he gets less reps. And then Brock Purdy shines, gets less reps in training camp. I think this has had a direct correlation in how the 49ers have attacked this recent draft. If you even look at the 2021 draft, you look at a lot of guys who show promise, who show a high upside, but it's mostly a projection. And when you look at who the 49ers drafted, Ricky Pearsall, Renardo Green, Dominic Pooney, the list goes on and on of fifth-year seniors. I think Dominic is a sixth-year senior. I feel like they flipped. They went from trying to get young and developing to we know exactly what you are, and we want you to come in as ready as can be. And we don't want to do the whole developmental thing. Like, you've already developed as much as you can. We will obviously develop you further within our system and our scheme, but we don't have to go through the growing pains of a 21-year-old maturing into a man at, let's say, 24, because I do think there is a big maturity gap between a 21-year-old and a 24, 25-year-old. So I believe that maybe there was something here where the 49ers just said, listen, we can't keep drafting quote unquote kids. We need to find guys who have years under their belt of experience. They have so much tape to reference that we can see their growth patterns. We can identify exactly who they are right now and how they're going to show up in training camp as rookies. And when you look at their draft haul, they have so many fifth-year seniors. And like I said, they even have a sixth-year senior, which kind of goes against the grain of even how I attack like scouting. Like, I'm always like, yeah, man, if you can get me a 21-year-old, that means you're getting him into your system, developing into your system, and maybe by 24, 25, you're looking at your second contract, which is right at the peak of their careers. Sounds pretty good, right? Except if you're not hitting on those players, if you're not hitting on that development of those younger players, just because it's a challenge to develop in the NFL just due to lack of reps, lack of practice time if you aren't a starter. And, I think we saw a little development. I think we saw a little change. I think we saw how the 49ers attacked this a little differently. And I think it played out in the sense of how they drafted. I don't know what you guys think about that. Do you see that as well? Do you see that trend? How they went for the older prospects? And I do think it's because of kind of landing on the younger ones and just not loving the returns that they got and realizing, hey, if we get a little bit of older prospect, they're more ready for the NFL game than a younger. I don't know. It's just a thought process. I want to hear from you though. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.